This week, a lot of exciting news about Flight Simulator 2024. A new world update, a new aircraft, and there was more. In this video, we're going to recap the developer web stream. So let's start the intro and then let's look at the details. So this week it was time for another developer web stream, right? Which they always do on a regular basis, and they restart this process because they have been away for a while. And it's with the known suspect Jörg Neumann, Sebastian Vlog and Marshall Bassar, where they give some insights in where they are working on, take the feedback, answer questions on, I would say, everything which is reported, not only by, I would say, developers, but also for simmers, right? Like you and me. Of course, they kicked off the news with, let's say, some exciting things, such as the marketplace, which is now available in Flight Simulator 2024 and also contains the Flight Simulator 2020 content. The good news is that for some of you who might have bought already some stuff in 2020, it should now be available in Flight Simulator 2024, right? You will be able to find it in your library. And if you want to buy 2020 content, you can also do that. But keep in mind, although it's available, it's recommended to buy the 2024 content, right? I do suspect that more developers will start updating their packages, I would say, along the way. But there was more exciting news. There is a huge aircraft coming to Flight Simulator. And that's the Embraer Praetor 600. It's a business jet, and as I would say, Asobo Microsoft explained, there's now a strategic partnership with them, right? It's a Brazilian aerospace company and it's known for its business jet, but also for their commercial aircrafts and more. Now you might think, okay, why is this so important? Well, if you understand that they've now got a partnership, that means that likely this is the first aircraft which will come, I would say, to Flight Simulator 2024. But it's, I would say, a longer term, right? So if you look at this picture, right, this is the aircraft, and this is the one which will first be released. It's the Praetor 600, but there are more aircrafts, right? So if you look at this, right, this is the inside of the aircraft. It's a pretty nice one, and it will be available as the first aircraft from Embraer, and it will be part of the Expert Series. So this is, I do think, the second Expert Series aircraft which will be available in Flight Simulator. Because the previous one was, if I'm correct, the ATR aircraft, which was released a while ago. It received an update recently, but it's not that new anymore, between brackets. So the Praetor is a mid-sized super business jet and has a lot of things, right? It is known for its range performance, but also the luxurious cabin, as you can see here, but also the, I would say, advanced technologies. So if we will look into the cabin, this is how the cabin looks like, right? This is, I would say, video from the manual or from the brochure from Embraer. Likely it will look a little bit different in Flight Simulator 2024 because you can see this one is also a graphic, but this is what they expect to do and I would say expect to add. The good thing is that, let's say, both Embraer as well as Microsoft / Asobo are working together with Working Title on the cockpit. Although it was mentioned that Asobo is the core developer and Working Title is working on the avionics systems for Flight Simulator 2024. It was, a little bit vague if it will also be available for 2020, but I do think that that will be the case, but let's wait. And by having that collaboration, they ensure the accuracy, especially in the fly-by-wire system of the Praetor 600, because that's, I would say, the case, right? So really nice one. And here you can see it flying, right? It was unknown currently how much liveries will be added, but I do expect that, I would say, we will see more coming in the near future. Other Embraer aircrafts which you might know are the E-Jets, so the E175, the E190 and the E915. And those are already available, only developed by third-party developers. And they are, I would say, pretty high quality, I must say. But this is really cool. If you do think, what kind of other aircrafts can we expect? Well, if you look at this range, these are the business jets from Embraer, right? It's the 600 is the largest one, and then you've got also smaller ones like the Venom series, which is the 100 and 300, which are the, say, smaller ones, also different engine types. And the Embraer 600 and 500 are the larger ones. They both do have a Honeywell engines, as well as they got the Collins Aerospace avionics, which means that likely there needs to be some development done on that part. It's unknown how detailed that will be, but hey, let's see. Other things which the aircraft has is auto throttle, synthetic vision system, full fly-by-wire controls with side stick. So this would say pretty exciting, right? I'm looking really forward for this one to be available in Flight Simulator. Then there's more news because city update number 10 has been announced. It's called United States 4 because it's the 4th time that we're visiting the United States, and it will contain a lot of city updates. Based on the screenshots we just shared, at least Dallas is included, followed by Denver, Fort Worth, Honolulu, and San Francisco. And no, it's not in Colorado, which was also pointed out during the live stream. But hey, this city will, for these cities, I should say, will also receive a large update as part of city update number 10. The good news is that city update number 10 will already be available in the April timeframe. So what's more being discussed in that live stream? Well, there was of course more being discussed about the further roadmap, and this is what you can see. World update number 19, which took place in, they called it Brazil, but of course it would say it took place in more than only Brazil, Guyana, Suriname, also some updates. And I would say it was the first largest world update which they released since a very long time. Officially the world update number 19 was promised already last year, but then it was delayed, likely due to all their resources being really busy on fixing Flight Simulator 2024. I would say getting everything up to speed to make sure that Flight Simulator 2024 will become better. And talking about that, you can also see that there are some world updates, or sim updates, I should say. And talking about that, you can also see that there are some sim updates. Sim update number 2, which should already be available in April. To be honest, I would doubt if they would say are able to deliver it in time, because sim update number 1 was delayed. But I'd say a beta should start soon. So if you want to participate in the beta, keep an eye on the channel, but also from Asobo to see if the beta will already be available so you can participate. So sim update number 2 beta testing again will become available very, very soon. And that will include a lot of, I would say, fixes, right? Sim update number 1 was big, but they already mentioned that sim update number 2 will be, I would say, even, almost bigger, or will contain a lot of fixes to make sure that you, I would say, can benefit from this nice update and nice sim, of course. So what will be there in sim update number 2? Well, first of all, the wake turbulence, right? It's now visualized in sim update number 2 and fully enabled for multiplayers. And the system will work with injected multiplayer models like VetSim also. That's a real cool new functionality. Then also the control settings overhaul, right? Improvements in usability and stability are in progress. So it's definitely the controller mesh which they created with, let's say, new profiles which worked completely different or didn't work at all. That's being, let's say, taken care of. And then we've got the LOD and texture fixes, especially for the Xbox Series X and S users. They should see improvements in the texture clarity and object rendering in sim update number 2. And then there's also some good news for those who are playing on the PC, because there's the ability to use FSR 3.1 and DLSS 4, which will be added to sim update number 2. There are some tricks to already start using it, so have a look at YouTube or the internet, because there are a lot of videos about that, how to tweak it. But that's also, I would say, being part of sim update number 2 officially. So then you will likely be able to set it officially via the, I would say, NVIDIA app. In addition to that, there is the heavy cargo missions. So there are some, say, dependencies, in this case on I&I builds, because they need to import some aircraft fixes. So for example, the Beluga undergoes some adjustments, and the A330 already requires fixes before these missions can be activated. So you will likely see some more heavy cargo missions coming soon once the fixes are in. Then there will be the AI pilot assistant. So it's expected to return to Flight Simulator 2024 pending refinement for the new flight model. So do expect that. And as last item, they called out the aircraft maintenance system. The team is investigating incorrect last check timestamps and is adjusting the vital vs non-vital components to improve functionality. So likely you will see some things there. But there's more. It is not only this. Because there's also that VRAM concerns which a lot of users have. They say it's only, I would say, users which run high settings and ray tracing, that those are affected the most. So what they've done is they have identified something and they implemented something in Sim Update number 2, which should, let's say, improve it with 800 MB VRAM optimization. Specifically benefiting users who are having ray tracing enabled, right? That's, let's say, one of the things which you need to keep in mind. And with that, they expect to reduce memory related crashes and provide better performance stability, particularly on GPUs with limited VRAM. So if you've got a GPU which does not have a lot of VRAM, then I would say will likely benefit the most from it. Is there more then? Yes, because it was not the only thing, but they didn't have specific screenshots from that. It's what they call the countryside thin data expansion. It's 1 million square kilometers of high detailed terrain, and it's gradually rolling out, and it upcomes with releases like Scotland, the US national parks and more. And you will see that they will add some more, I would say, thin data, which makes it more realistic to fly over those, I would say, parts of the world. Then there also is some sea traffic render distance. So they acknowledge that, I would say, the ship visibility is not always 100% correct, and they're working on improvements to make sure that, I would say, the render distance is improving. And there's some good news also for those who are, say, worried about their bandwidth usage, because they implemented, or they're going to implement, the rolling cache fixes. So it will improve the cache efficiency, which should reduce the bandwidth usage for better streaming performance. Because as we all know, Flight Simulator 2024 is depending a lot on the bandwidth and a lot on the internet. So likely we'll also see some improvements from that. Then last but not least is the lightning and exposure adjustments. They made a lot of changes to lightning and exposures because a lot of people were complaining that the lightning was not good in Flight Simulator 2024 initially. Based on that, they implemented a fix in Sim Update number 1 and are now monitoring the feedback to see if they need to make further adjustments. So, was that it? No, because there's more. Yes, you hear it correctly, more. They called it the long-term roadmap. And the first one, which is on that long-term roadmap, is the World Hub Gateway, right? You remember it in the year 2024. Was available for some time, and it was, say, a nice tool. And it was used to, I would say, submit improvements for specific sceneries or airports. So it comes with an improved submission and moderation system, but it's long-term, right? So don't expect it on short-term. Then there's also the expanded AI liveries. So do expect that more real-world airline liveries are being licensed and will be rolled out over time. So a lot of more realism will be there. Then for those who are playing multiplayer, also there you will see more things to be, let's say, available. More liveries. It's being discussed for a future update. Then the future career mode expansions, right? Because career modes are nice, but some of you already, would say, played all the missions and you're completely stuck. They're looking, or they are investigating, I should say, a way if they can implement the helicopter-based firefighting missions. That requires some new water detection systems, so do expect it will not be available very soonish, but hey, they're looking into it, right? Which is already, I'd say, an open door. So let's see when it comes. And then with Sim Update number 3, which is, as you can see, also coming in 2025, it's unknown when, they will come up with some helipad and airport fixes. It contains the ongoing optimization and is continued through Sim Update number 3. So do expect some more things to be available there. Bringing us to Flight Simulator 2020, will it also receive some updates? Yes, they announced that Flight Simulator 2020 also will receive an update, but it will say and that's more focused on the performance and stability. They didn't share too much about it, but it will say pretty interesting to see that they also are working on that. And that's also based on their, I would say, initial promises that they would do it. So with that, we made a little bit a longer video than expected. I hope you weren't too bored at looking at that last screen, which I would say I have on my screen already for a long time. But I do think that we're making progress and we are, let's say, gonna see some real cool things. The logo Legend 21, by the way, I do think that it was, let's say, not announced yet, but there was another aircraft announced, and I don't have, let's say, an image from that one. But let me quickly look at what that one was. It was the F4 Phantom. That one will come available later this year. They didn't call out a specific date when it will be available, but do expect a new fighter to also be added to Flight Simulator. So pretty nice if you love flying them. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then make sure to hit the like button, and I hope to see you back next time for another video about the recap of the developer stream.